I went on a little emotional eating episode yesterday. Yeah, and got to get back on track. Now, if I told you what I ate, most of you say, "Well, there's nothing wrong with that." But you got to understand, I'm in a different place right now. I had chicken and rice. I had grits and eggs. Ooh, I just went on an emotional. I had a couple of huge cups of water with lemon, huge cups. I'm not being funny. I'm being serious. A couple of things happened to me yesterday. This is the year 2025. Or I was involved with a couple of things that changed it. This is October the 5th today. Yesterday was October the 4th, 2025, just to log it. And I went to a memorial of one of my mentors. His wife passed. And I saw the unity of their family. And you can tell, just full of different personalities. But as a family unit, just tight and well known in their community, stable, living out the success principles. And again, no one's flawless. It's not about being flawless. And there's some super wealthy people there, but not everyone was super wealthy either. It's not about the money. They came together in unity. That greatly affected me leaving there. Even though my spiritual mentor brought me in, shook my hand, told me how important I don't sense it because I don't see myself doing anything great other than every once in a while showing up at different events and promoting certain things here and there. But what he does is amazing here in this city. And the support was shown there. That was one thing. A second thing was I saw someone for the very first time, and it saddened me because it showed me that they wanted to hold on to being a warlock. And it saddened me because I thought they weren't interested in doing that. And it was like, oh no, let me. And they had me fooled because I thought that they had the heart to just want to change. And it was a simple action, but it was very telling. Very disappointing. Made me sad. So I went on an eating binge. Had a couple of rolls. You didn't come here for that, I know. But what you did come here for those who listen to me as a teacher, is for these principles so that you can grab hold of them and make them very real in your life, I hope. But as I was saying to you a video or two ago, it makes you very sensitive to what's going on around you. People will not see you for who you are, which is someone filled with the Spirit of God and very aware of these principles. They will just see you as another human being in a lot of cases. But you will be able to see things learning these principles. God is teaching Joshua how to do the same. Or has taught him, really. Because he's walking it out. I'm not sure if this thing is still recording. Because it just froze on me. Okay. Oh, it's back. Okay. Let's continue on as though nothing happened. Because I don't know what happened. So Joshua is learning these principles. In truth, I think he's already learned the principles, and God is walking him through this. These principles of sanctification, unity, being able to see spirits for what they are. When they lost the battle at Ai, he had to deal with that. He had to walk through it again. I have no revelation on how he pulled it off, but he walked through all the family members of all the tribes and came up with the conclusion, the right conclusion, asked the guy to be honest with himself, and then they took him out, stoned him, separated him, and then went on to the battle of Ai here in Joshua chapter 8, and they won the battle. But I want you to pick up on certain things that are not necessarily shared with us in churches and Bible studies and that sort of thing. I want you to pick up on the principles of how to succeed. In Joshua chapter 8, verse 1, it says, "And the Lord said unto Joshua," this one's always preached, "Fear not, neither be thou dismayed." This is the part that we don't preach. "Take all the people of war with thee." If you haven't caught on so far, the battle is not the project. The battle is finding the right people to take with you. In my growth, in learning over this last 9-10 years of being self-employed and learning how to grow a business. Some years ago, I told you that I was taking you on a journey. For those who follow me even longer than that, I told you years ago that I'm taking you on a journey, and that journey is going from being employed to being a business owner. Making that transition, first of all, what I've noticed is that people will placate you. In other words, they'll say, "Oh, that's nice," but won't believe you. This has been my experience. Some will believe you but never support you. Be a part of it, in other words, because they don't want to pay the price because it is very expensive. There will be others that say that like what you're saying and want you to help them with their project but aren't really interested in yours. There's just a plethora or just a bunch of scenarios you run across when you're leaving your job, which is slavery, when you're leaving the slave mentality. Just think Egypt. When you're leaving Egypt and you're going into the land of Canaan, there will be plenty of people that you run across in your life, but not everyone is going to be with you. I remember this one guy. He's still around in my life. I remember this one guy, and I tell him, share with him, all the stuff that I learned, and sow it into his life, and he paid me, and for a short period of time, then stopped paying me, and this guy thinks I'm competing with him. I'm thinking, how do you do that? How this not about if you can write this down. By the way, this is for my kids, my grandkids, my brothers and sisters around the world in Kenya and Ghana, and whomever else consider me a teacher. God bless you. If you can write this down, write this down. You cannot collaborate with people competing with you. Collaboration and competition are not going to work together within the same unified body. There is no competition between team members. If anything, if there is competition, it's to eradicate those things like an AI that we as a team are supposed to go take over. But as team members, we're not competing against one another. And in poverty-minded people, they think competition is like one of the great pillars of success. And it is not. It is meant for the poor-minded people to keep you divided. Sanctification should lead to unity. When there is no unity, then you have an Achan, Achan, in your midst, who is not interested in being unified for the greater good for the whole family of Israel. What I saw at this memorial yesterday that I was telling you about were people who had diverse personalities, very diverse, but were unified in the family name that they had, which was very diverse as well. Blended families, it was beautiful. But in the room, I saw business leaders, political leaders, leaders of nonprofits. I saw an amazing array. And then we stepped outside, we did the bubbles, and I just stood in awe of the greatness of one of my mentors here in this city. To me, very humble. Yet we have people wanting to compete with other people that can't do anything for you but good if you just incorporated them into your world. But you're filled with world thinking of competition. It doesn't work. The goal is to find the people. It's not the taking over of AI. It's the unification of the team members. God said to Joshua right here, fear not. This is the part that's preached in every church around the world. Fear not. But what isn't preached is take all the people of war with thee. Take the people who you're surrounded with, who are experts in their part that they play. Don't try to do it by yourself. You are not the master of everything. You're not the master accountant, the master banker, the master negotiator, the master salesperson. You're not the master attorney. But if you're trying to intimidate the attorney that God calls into your life, say, "Oh yeah, I studied a little bit of law," and if that's your attitude, "Oh yeah, I know a little bit about numbers," and so you're pushing away the CPA who believes in you because you're trying to tell the CPA how to do their job. What? Stop. How you gonna tell? You ain't sold a thing in your life, and you gonna tell the salesperson how to be a salesperson? What are you doing? You don't have a certificate, a license, a degree in anything. And yet you want to tell people who have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years experience in their craft and take passion in developing their craft. And then you want to come in and tell them how to do something you don't have a clue on. You're pushing them away. You have to unify by taking all the people of war with thee and arise and go up to Ai. I have given it into your hand. How do you know he's given? He gave him direction and he gave him a team that was more than capable, more than experienced, but had wisdom and the ability to go in and do the work. And were unified because they rooted out the unbeliever. And thou shalt do, verse 2, thou shalt do to Ai and her king as thou did unto Jericho and her king. Only the spoil thereof and the cattle thereof shall ye take for a prey unto yourselves. Lay thee an ambush for the city behind it. So Joshua rose and all the people of war. Many of you want to be Joshua without the people of war. Many of you are such control freaks that if it ain't done the way you want it done, the men of war got their marching orders from Moses, not from Joshua. Because they're based upon principles, not personal desires. Control freaks. You're operating in witchcraft and don't even know it. Or worst case scenario, maybe you do. You're pushing away living the employee mentality. Whew, boy, I can go there with you. And I'm choosing not to. Because for my kids, my grandkids, my brothers and sisters around the world, you will not be led by those who manipulate it. You will be led by those who are led by the Spirit of God, because you also are led by the Spirit of God. What does that look like? What it looks like is that the person treats you with love and respect. Without the balance of love and respect, if they're acting like they respect you but they show you no love, it's not real. If they're acting like they love you but they show you no respect, it's not real. You can want it to be real all you want. One of my spiritual sons called me from Africa and told me about a relationship that he had and how the person showed him no respect. He says, but how can I be in love with someone who shows me no respect? I said, because it's not love. It's infatuation. You just don't want to be lonely. Without love and respect, there is no unity. There's manipulation. There's personal gain. If I bring an expert in your midst and you turn them down, an expert being somebody who's wise, a man of war, a woman of war, if you will. If, these days, if you don't say woman, then some people get offended. But a man of war, a man of strategy. Let's say he's read the art of the art of war many times, the Book of Five Rings and whatever. But the point is, he's been there before, been there, done that many, many times. Shouldn't you be leaning on that wisdom instead of questioning it? See, the greatest battle is unifying. The greatest battle is not Ai or Jericho. The greatest battle is developing those relationships on your way from slavery to business ownership. I hope you're following me because I realize I speak on many levels at a time. If you're missing anything, believe me, I'm not getting lost. You should go back and listen to it over and over and over again to catch the principles. Because at this point, it's not going to get much more simpler. Because I'm doing the best I can to share with you Genesis all the way up to Joshua in one conversation sometimes. If these videos or podcasts are helpful to you, please like and share them with other people. I would certainly appreciate it. If they're not, well, then don't do it. But thank you for taking this journey with us as we explore the kingdom of God and usher in the kingdom of heaven.